Shalom, shalom and welcome. Welcome to the White Rose Family Channel. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening, set-apart nation. And you will find that I have taken a position where often I will put up Yahuwah's name and I would put up Yahusha, identifying Yahuwah's word and spirit as it relates to Yahuah, who is the Almighty One, who is the beginning and the end, who manifests his word in the name of Yahusha before us, who sent his set-apart spirit in the name of Yahusha before us to guide us, to comfort us, to teach us. And I am referencing John 6:44 and John 14:26. It is imperative, my brothers and sisters, that you ask yourself, are you willing to gamble your life on the name that you are calling on for salvation? Are you absolutely sure that you have come to grow in a relationship with he who is the Almighty One? So many people rather just say, yah this, yah that, quote unquote, playing it safe. Oh, Yashar'al, we will find that in this final exodus, it is imperative that we understand that it was Yahuah, who is the Almighty One, who manifests his word. We could not probably contain ourselves with the actual power and might of how Yahuah will communicate with us without him manifesting his word to speak to us, his word in the name of Yahusha. So when we say Yahusha, we acknowledge that the plan of Yahuah is the manifestation of his word before us. With that said, let's get into this segment. Oh, I don't want to skip saying this, that the views expressed in these messages do not reflect the views of the owners, managers, and/or shareholders of this media platform. With that said, let's get into this segment, my brothers and sisters. In this segment, I want you to come. I will present the story of two wolves. Two wolves. And I have never heard it presented in such a way, but that doesn't mean it hasn't. But incline your ear as I talk about two wolves. For I believe, O Yashar'al, it is critical to understand two wolves that will be visible and magnified in these end times. You see, O Yashar'al, two wolves. The bottom line, there are two sides. There are no middle ground. There is righteous and there is wicked. I will present the case of righteous wolves versus the wicked wolves in this segment. And why is this important? You will grow to see as I present the case for you to understand what is to come in the days ahead. Words from the Almighty Yahuah sent in Yahusha's name. I am completely compelled to believe that the word of Yahuah came to me and say, speak to the children of Yashar'al and let them know some important factors as it relates to wolves. And this is the result of my encounter, my prayer. My brothers and sisters, each day I emerge. I want to say almost every day, the Almighty Father impart on me something to present to his children. He presented to me and I presented to you as I'm compelled. I must ask your forgiveness. Sometimes I am not as expedient as I should be, and for that I am sorry. Forgive me. I pray and ask the Almighty Father, am I throwing pearls before swine? For by just throwing it out there. And the Almighty Father said, for such a time as this, I have given you words to say to my children, and know that my words will not return to me void. I find comfort that his spirit also says to me that those who seek to abuse the words that I give you to present before my children will become blind. I will blind them. They will stumble and fall trying to make sense of set-apart instructions and living words that I give you. This is my encounter in my prayer life with the Almighty Father, and I present this to you, O Yashar'al, as I continue to present posts that I believe I am compelled to present before you. I pose these questions as I am compelled, as I said. Consider these questions, Yashar'al, and as I go through this segment, I want you to reflect on these questions. Is Yaakov Yashar'al? Are you aware that he who had the commonly known in many books as Jacob, name is Yaakov? Are you aware that Yaakov's name was changed to Yashar'al, but commonly referred to by many as Israel? You see, O Yashar'al, there's Israel by nationality, by race, and then there's Israel by nationality, those that consist of Hebrews and Gentiles made one by Yahusha. There are two distinctions, and we will learn that in the coming days ahead. Another question, is Yaakov one of our patriarchs? Yes, he is. Was Yaakov a liar? No, not at all. Was Yaakov one that understood prophecy? I believe so. Do you think Yaakov, whose name was changed to Yashar'al, represents the final banner for the set-apart children of Yahuah led in Yahusha's name? Yahusha, which is the word of Yahuah. And I submit to you that banner is Yashar'al. Consider Isaiah 11:12, O Yashar'al. Do you believe Yashar'al, the patriarch, spoke accurately regarding 12 of his sons? If not, I invite you, my brothers and sisters, to go to Genesis and read it. Read it, my brothers and sisters. Go to the 49th chapter of Genesis, and you will see Yashar'al, Yaakov, whose name was changed to Yashar'al, prophesied before his sons, 12 of his sons, describing them in ways that we have grown to ignore or maybe just glazed over or might not even know. Could Yashar'al's message to his sons be reflective of today? Are you aware that end times will have representation of 12 tribes with Manasseh taking the place of Dan? You see, O Yashar'al, there was more said and to be said about what our patriarch Yashar'al had to say about his sons and the reflection of characteristics of his sons rising up in the days ahead. The questions I just posed to you were for a reason, and it will prove to be connected to the subject matter of two wolves. Come with me, my brothers and sisters. Let's take a look at part of Genesis, 49th chapter. I want to read verses 1 and 2, and then 27 of the 49th chapter. And Yaakov called his sons and said, "Gather together, so that I declare to you what is to befall you in the last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Yaakov, and listen to Yashar'al your father." Here he had them together as he described his sons. He had them together, and that minimized and reduced or possibly prevented rumors of, well, he told me this about me, he told me that about me. All of them heard what he had to say about each of them. Drop down to the 27th verse. That's related to the subject. And this is something that I believe Yaakov prophesied regarding his sons then and a reflection of now. 49:27 says, "Benjamin is a wolf that tears. In the morning he eats prey, and at night he divides the spoil." I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, do you believe Yashar'al was dogging or criticizing Benjamin? Or was he describing a strong animal that knows how to tear things apart, that knows how to identify what can be eaten, prey, and know how to share what can be eaten. You see, O Yashar'al, we focus too much on what we see with our physical eyes and hear, or what society or our education system have brought to our attention. But if we look beyond the animal of the wolf and look at the actions, knowing how and what to eat and to separate the food from what is not prey, and knowing how to divide that spoil and share it with others. I submit to you that Benjamin's father was telling him he knows how to tear and separate. He knows what to eat and how to share it. And I submit to you, O Yashar'al, that I believe the 49th chapter of Genesis is the father prophesying over his children. And he had them together because there will be intermittent characteristics and personalities among Yashar'al in his final exodus, and we must recognize them and see that we would be interdependent upon one another as the Spirit of Yahuah works in us, through us, one towards another. Pray on these matters, O Yashar'al. Let me continue. Come with me to examine these words as well. Here in the 7th chapter of Matthew, verses 12 through 15, it reads this: Therefore, whatever you wish men to do to you, do also to them. For this is the Torah and the prophets. Enter in through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter through it. Because the gate is narrow and the way is hard pressed, which leads to life, and there are few who find it. But beware of false prophets. Keep in mind, he's saying false prophets that come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. See, the key is savage wolves and false prophets trying to deceive. You see, so there are the good wolves and there are the wicked wolves. And I submit to you that Benjamin and those who will rise up reflecting the personality of Benjamin will prove to be as set apart wolves, not set of savage wolves. Thus the subject, 2 wolves. And Benjamin will rise as one of the 12 tribes in the 7th chapter of Revelation. Do we see characteristics of Benjamin among us? Trust that there will be at the very minimum 12,000, reflecting such personality for a purpose and a reason. We will discover, my brothers and sisters, that it is the actions of the wolf that should be examined, along with what or who's doing the influencing. Is it a savage wolf? Is it a false prophet? Or is it one who reflects the strength to separate what is edible and what is not? The strength that is reflective of Benjamin. Ask yourselves, my brothers and sisters, what and who do you see among us? We have heard that actions speak louder than words. I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, functions speak stronger than form. Trying to look the part, describe the part, or judge the part based off of just what you see may cause us to stumble. Let's look at the actions. Let's discern the actions as the Spirit of Yahusha works within us to open our eyes and ears to see and respond, if necessary, accordingly. Let's visit this, my brothers and sisters. We know that there are warnings to these shepherds, these savage wolves, these false prophets. Let me read a couple of them. Jeremiah 23:1 say, Woe to the shepherds destroying and scattering the sheep of my pastor, declares Yahuah. Come with me to Matthew. That was Jeremiah 23:1. Come with me to Matthew, chapter 23, verse 25 through 28. Matthew 23:25 through 28 say, Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! because you clean the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are filled with plunder and unrighteousness. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and dish, so that the outside of them becomes clean too. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you are like whitewashed tombs, which outwardly indeed look well, but inside are filled with dead men's bones and all uncleanliness. Do we see brothers and sisters among us, especially those who consider themselves teachers or mores, dressing the part that they believe makes them look good and clean and set apart? But inwardly, we've met them personally and saw that they are vain, arrogant, conceited, protectors of their own ego, pursuing their own agenda. Have we witnessed that? I have. What are we doing about it? Watch the hand of the Almighty Father as he guides us through these things as we witness them, giving us the strength to come away or to purge them from our midst. It goes here, it says, you too, talking about these hypocrites and Pharisees and Sadducees, you too outwardly indeed appear righteous to men, but inside you are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness. My brothers and sisters, you have the savage wolf, the scribe, the wolf that comes in sheep clothing, receiving warning. Yashar'al, prepare to witness the presence of the good wolf, represented by, at the minimum, 12,000 of the tribe of Binyamin. You see, remember, there will be 144,000 that would rise. Do you think they will reflect the prophecies of their father, the Father? Here I want to share two verses with you, and mainly I want to bring your attention to Benjamin. But I want to read Revelation 7:4 and 7:8. Come with me there to the 7th chapter of Revelation. And I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 sealed out of all the tribes of the children of Yashar'al. Of the tribe of Zebulun, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Joseph, 12,000 were sealed. Of the tribe of Benjamin, 12,000 were sealed. There were more, because each of the 12 tribes, with the exception of Manasseh, took the place of Dan, are mentioned in this entire chapter, as well as a great multitude. But I wanted to isolate Benjamin. Do you think 12,000 from the tribe of Benjamin will not reflect some of the characteristics of their forefather that they are representing? I submit to you, they will. And they will have the strength and the power to know how to separate, to tear, how to identify what should be eaten. Are we not aware that Yahusha himself said he is the bread of life? Did he not break bread with us? Was it not divided amongst the multitude and us? There's the literal and there's the spiritual. I say to you, O Yashar'al, each of those mentioned in 7th chapter will contribute towards the final exodus and the binding together of a set-apart nation, interdependent upon one another. We will see the many members working towards one cause, and that is to worship and obey the Almighty Father. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, let me continue. Prepare to witness the presence of the good wolf, as I stated. Prepare to witness with the characteristics of set-apart wolves. Be careful how we judge what we see are happening, for there are those who do not have the strength, the fortitude, nor the discerning power of the Spirit of Yahuah to identify between the bad wolf and the good wolf, O Yashar'al. In due season, we will discover that every characteristic mentioned by Yashar'al, the patriarch, regarding 11 of his sons and his grandson will come to the surface, and it is necessary for this final exodus. My brother, my sister, my family, rise up. Build your expectations and look forward to what the Almighty Father has to say regarding all the details and processes that are necessary that will come to be. With each of the tribes mentioned in the 7th chapter of Revelation, it is my position that there will be interdependent. They will be interdependent on one another as the Spirit of Yahusha, sent in Yahusha's name, move them and others. As we see the 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes, as the 144,000 began to emerge, we will see characteristics prophesied by their father that they are representing, Yashar'al. And each of those characteristics will work interdependent, depending on one another, knowing that the Spirit of Yahuah flows through each of them, one towards another, as well as through us, one towards another. This is necessary to be mindful of, my brothers and sisters, for this final exodus will prove to bring about many details, some of which we were not even aware of. Let me take you to Romans 12th chapter, for I believe it is applicable to the words I present to you, O Yashar'al. Chapter 12, verse 1 through 5. Here we read, I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of the Almighty One, to present your bodies a living offering set apart, well-pleasing to the Almighty One, your reasonable worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you prove what is good and well-pleasing and perfect desire of the Almighty One. For I say through the favor which has been given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he should think, but think soberly, as the Almighty One has given to each a measure of belief. For we have many members in one body, but all members do not have the same function. So we, the many, are one body in Messiah, and members each one of one another. You see, my brothers and sisters, there will be some interdependence depending on one another in this final exodus. It will be wise to discern where true knowledge originates in order to judge righteously. Consider these words, O Yashar'al, for there are those who will attack those who gain knowledge and set apartness. Sure, there's the knowledge of man, the conditioning program, the mental directions, the psychological games. But there's a knowledge that comes from above, a knowledge from the Almighty Father that brings wisdom, understanding, and so much more. Let me read to you, O set-apart family, Proverbs 1:7. So when someone criticizes knowledge, ask them, what type of knowledge are you criticizing? Are you attacking the wisdom that is being displayed by a brother or sister who have received knowledge from the Almighty Father out of jealousy and envy? Or are you talking about the knowledge of man, the wisdom of fools? It says here, the fear of Yahuah is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. I say to you, O Yashar'al, do we see some fools among us? Why do I say that? There's so many people say, I don't fear anything. I don't fear anything. And they don't make it clear that they don't fear what man can do, but they do fear Yahuah. They don't make it clear. It's foolish to just say, don't fear anything. We should fear the Almighty Father Yahuah. He's not a thing, but he also presents an environment for things for us to be mindful of, to bring us into check and obedience and discipline. Proverbs 2:6 says, for Yahuah gives wisdom. Out of his mouth come knowledge and understanding. Know that as we go through these things, my brothers and sisters, we who draw closer to him will increase in knowledge and wisdom. We will be able to discern the words that he presents to us that will be a reflection of endless water from him. Proverbs 5, verse 1 and 2 says, my son, listen to my wisdom. Incline your ear to my understanding, so as to watch over discretion and your lips guard knowledge. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al. I believe that as we grow in wisdom and knowledge and understanding, this will bring the comfort as we experience what lies ahead and what's unfolding now. Remember these words, O Yashar'al. O set-apart family, you will find me mentioning them often. Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahuah. I shall not change, and you, O sons of Yaakov, shall not come to an end. And it is reflective similar in James 1:16 and 17. Do not go astray, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no change nor shadow of turning. What he has done in times past, we will see him do similar things now in the coming days ahead, to bring about the unity that he expects from those he has formed for his esteem, to fulfill the final exodus, to be strong and be as martyrs for Yahusha's name, to provide words to those led astray, to bring correction, to have the strength to press and to set apartness, my brothers and sisters. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, we will learn how the good wolf or wolves, reflective of the tribe of Benjamin, play a part in the strengthening of a set-apart nation. And we will understand and discern the savage wolf, the false prophet, the false teachers, those who succumb to false teachings. Time and timing is of the utmost importance and requires discipline and focus, as well as discerning the living guidance from Abba Yahuah that comes in Yahusha's name. What say you, my brother? What is your position? Let me also present these words to you, Yashar'al. Come with me to Revelation 11:1 and 2. Revelation 11:1 and 2. And a reed like a measuring rod was given to me, and the measure stood, saying, rise and measure the dwelling place of the Almighty One, and the slaughter place, and those worshiping in it. But cast out the court which is outside the dwelling place, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations that they shall trample the set-apart city underfoot for 42 months, 3.5 years. There's the literal and there's the spiritual. I submit to you, O Yashar'al, the dwelling place of Yahuah is us. I submit to you when it says judgment begins at the house of Yahuah first. That means that judgment measures our actions, our works, our deeds, our worship. I submit to you what John was measuring were the actions of the set-apart children of Yahuah, and that's akin in the measuring to the judgment, judging right and wrong, refinement, the discipline. And when he said they cast outside the court, those outside the dwelling place of Yahuah are those who are not set apart Yashar'al, who are not the set-apart children. And I believe wholeheartedly that the Almighty Father don't want us focusing on what they're doing, but focus on what set-apart Yashar'al is to do. For they have their appointed time of judgment, their appointed time of physical death. We will learn, O Yashar'al, there are words that when made alive, our understanding changes. Can you receive what I just said regarding measuring the dwelling place of the Almighty Father in the outer court? I'm compelled to present these words as well, O Yashar'al. John 12:36 to 12:40. While you have the light, believe in the light so that you become sons of the light. These words Yahusha spoke and went off and was hidden from them. But though he had done so many signs before them, they did not believe in him, that the word of Yeshayahu the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spoke. Yahuah, who has believed our report, and to whom has the arm of Yahuah been revealed? Because of this, they were unable to believe, because again, Yeshayahu said, he has blinded their eyes and hardened their heart so that they should not see with their eyes and understand with their heart and turn, and I should heal them. You see, we will realize that there are some brothers and sisters, teachers, spiritual influencers, that will not get it, no matter how simple, how plain it will be presented. They will not get it. Why? Oftentimes because their intent. They may be that savage wolf in sheep clothing. They may be undisciplined. Don't try to force an understanding on anyone, my brothers and sisters. Trust that the discipline that is promised by the Almighty Father will rise up and have its place. Two wolves. Be careful, O Yashar'al. Be careful how you render judgment, lest you harm the wolves and those of the tribe of Binyamin. That is necessary for the strengthening of a set-apart nation. Be careful, be prayerful, be cautious. Know, O Yashar'al, the actions, the functions. Develop the expectation to discern, see, and respond correctly. My brothers and sisters, the final Exodus will prove there is much to learn and understand in order to fully complete the promise of Abba Yahuah. And I submit to you, with each passing day, there is so much more to come. Endless water that is promised by Yahusha, the word of Yahuah, flows each day, and I am a witness. And for that I say hallelujah. I say hallelujah in the name of Yahusha, by the life that I am given by the blood of the Lamb, by the Spirit within me, that disciplines me, that guides me, that strengthens me. And you as well. Yashar'al, stay tuned. There is much more to come. There's much work to be done. Seek to get involved. Seek to discern and witness the contrast between set-apart wolves and savage wolves. On that note, I say to you, thank you for your patience, your tolerance. My prayers, more than anything, is to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahuah that comes to us in Yahusha's name, and witness and yield to what he is saying to us. For there is truly much work ahead of us. On that note, I say to you, Yashar'al, my brother, my sister, with the power and might and the love that is given to me by the Almighty Father to understand his love, I say to you, much shalom. Shalom, my brother, my sister, my family.